Coming up, is AJ Lee returning to wrestling? Has Johnny Gargano been led away from NXT? And Pete will be reviewing AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. So subscribe to the channel, because if you do, and I can't quite believe this, because actually this is really generous. Adam is going to send every single new subscriber one signed board game from his personal collection. All you gotta do is subscribe and then make sure you go and tell him about it on Twitter.
Support WrestleTalk!
Now, you probably heard about this by now, but a certain Catch Messiah Punk returned to wrestling this year, signing with AEW and melting Ollie's brains so much that they poured out of his tear ducts. The filthy mark. But CM isn't the only grappler in the Puyunke household, as he is married to AJ Mendez, the former AJ Lee of the skipping and the Divas Championship fame. And the being a very good wrestler, obviously, but she was bound up in all of that other stuff. Well, seemingly, wrestling is still a family affair, as yesterday at a press conference for the relaunch of Women of Wrestling, aka Wow, AJ was announced as part of the team overseeing the relaunch. No word came down on whether AJ would be wrestling for the promotion or if this was just a more management consultation role, but Mendez has previously ruled out ever returning to in-ring action. Just like a lot of wrestlers do. Wrestlers saying they're retired is like the X-Men dying. It means nothing. Someone who previously ruled out ever leaving the brand they were on, and I think the exact words were NXT for, it's quite hard to do backwards, life. It's Johnny Gargano. Johnny was last seen on the first episode of NXT 2.0 as he was involved in the wedding of the Way member Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis. Since then, Johnny's been AWOL and has now fueled speculation that he's left the brand that made his name by removing all mention of it from his Twitter bio, which previously read, Pro Wrestler, Clevelander, Be Yourself and Outwork at WWE NXT on @USA Network. And now just says Pro Wrestler, Clevelander, Be Yourself and Outwork. But where do you outwork, Johnny? Where Johnny lands next remains to be seen, but rumours say that his WWE contract expires in December, so I'm guessing we won't have many answers before Christmas. Hopping the fence to AEW, and Homelander himself, aka Cody Rhodes, has been talking about his current dispute with Glock-wielding maniac Arn Anderson and what this might mean for his character down the line. Interestingly, Cody said outright that he would never turn heel and join the dark side on AEW because it's still real to them kids, damn it, it's still real to them. Telling Pop Culture in an interview, this will disappoint so many, and maybe it won't, maybe this will excite. But two things I can guarantee you, and I'm not saying this to wave one hand while you're not looking at the other, I'm telling this from the most honest standpoint. I am not going to turn heel on this company, and I would retire before I did that. Now I'm the head of the community outreach group, I have a little girl now, I'm not going to be doing heel stuff on TV. There's Cody, keeping kayfabe alive. Because he also added, I'm not turning heel, and I'm not going back on my word to challenge for the title.
Before we get on with the rest of the news, I'd just like to say a big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, which you can get 83% off and 3 months free if you go to surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk and use the code WrestleTalk. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which doesn't just make your browsing much safer, it also gives you access to the content libraries from places like the UK, the US, or Japan, which will have movies and series that aren't available in your region. I'm talking streaming services like Netflix, Amazon, BBC iPlayer, and yes, the WWE Network. That's right, if you're in the US and you want to go back to the old WWE Network with all its original content and far superior search and chapter functions, then install Surfshark VPN now to get access to it from outside America. And do so using our links in the video description below, surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk, where you'll get 83% off and 3 months free if you use the code WrestleTalk. Surfshark have been one of our biggest supporters this last year, so we'd really appreciate if you at least check them out using the link below. Support WrestleTalk and support your internet privacy with Surfshark.
Are you guys ready for Positive Pete? Because goddamn, what an episode of wrestling. The anniversary episode of Dynamite, happy birthday Pete, began with the 8-man tag match of the Super Elite versus Jurassic Express, Christian Cage and Bryan Danielson, and this match got about 20 minutes to shine, and it was so much fun. There were so many fun spots in this match, with the real turning point in the match being an indie taker to Christian on the outside. This led into the final 5 to 10 minutes of the match, which was absolutely outstanding work, with a stare down between Danielson and Omega, Danielson locking in the cattle mutilation on Omega before Nick Jackson broke it up, an elite beatdown of everyone involved with Adam Cole eventually getting the pin after all four of them hit big move after big move onto Jungle Boy. This was an awesome way to kick off the show, and as a personal nitpick, I would love to see Adam Cole have more to do in the match, because at times it felt like he was there to get worked over and then hit the occasional super kick and then the big moves at the end. But that's a personal gripe, because I love Adam Cole so much. John Moxley cut a promo backstage saying that he has a 3-month-old at home and she's insane. Children sound lovely. And then CM Punk came out to the Philadelphia crowd to talk about how much he loves Philadelphia and his history with the city. After some more love fest, he called out Daniel Garcia, and the two will be wrestling on Rampage. What a great choice of opponent, another young talent that can benefit from working with a guy like Punk. And some people may think that the CM Punk just being happy to be back in wrestling is getting old, but he's just so genuine every time he says it, it's hard not to smile about it. Punk then gave his shoes to a kid in the front row. Babyface Punk. It's gonna make it hurt so much more when he does turn heel. There was a fun little video promo next with Arn Anderson turning up outside Cody's house with a fire, where he lambasted Cody for focusing too much on his reality TV and his accomplishments outside wrestling, because as a wrestler, he's struggling. Anderson burns Cody's jacket and then burns his tie and tells him to paint a star on his face again. I thought we all agreed to never reference Stardust again. This was really solid and hopefully is beginning to tell the next arc of Cody's character, where he refocuses on being successful in wrestling again, which can either be a babyface or heel arc depending on how they want to take it. I'm looking forward to it. Sammy Guevara versus Bobby Fish came next for the TNT Championship, and there was a little video package hyping up Fish beforehand, and what followed was a decent little match. Fish looked solid on offense, but ultimately succumbed to the GTH. After the match, American Top Team assaulted Sammy, who was saved by Fuego del Sol, Jericho, and Hager. Dan Lambert tried to cut a promo over the singing crowd, but Jericho said he didn't hear a word he said because the crowd were too loud. This was fun stuff, and it neatly keeps the inner circle going while tying in Guevara's beef with American Top Team and the Jericho and Hager feud. Thumbs up. We got the official announcement of the TBS Championship next, which looks like a pretty good belt, and honestly, better than the AEW Women's World title. Might need to fix that AEW, but it will begin with a tournament. I bet Adam's happy. And we heard from Thunder Rosa, Sky Blue, Ruby Soho, and Jade Cargill about how they want to be the first champion. Loved this, felt important, looking forward to the inclusion of the belt. Thank you for being awesome Pledgehammers on Patreon, Par for the Course, Zarjeth, and the Cyclone, Brandon Sires. You can get your own shoutout and loads of extra Patreon bonus content by visiting us at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Darby Allin backstage told JR he paints his face because 50% of him is dead inside. Same, Darby, same. He then faced Nick Comoroto in a decent match where 90% of the match took place in a picture-in-picture ad break, and Sting hit a Scorpion Death Drop on QT Marshall after for a pop. Dark Order had a backstage bit where they're all on the same page again, and also they say that Alan Angels, John Silver, and Stu Grayson all look like each other because they're bald white men with beards. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't look like any of them. Dante Martin in the ring then called out the AEW locker room and was answered by Malachi Black, who misted him and black masked him and accepted his challenge. Yes, another person who will benefit from fighting a more experienced name and another person for Black to beat in his conquest. Guys, this show is so good. This segment was short and sweet, and it's all you need, and you don't need the bells and the whistles. This told exactly what you needed to know. Ricky Starks called out Brian Cage next, and the two of them will be having a Philly street fight on Rampage after Cage returned here. That should be fun, though I do worry that Starks is now getting so over as a babyface that people are going to boo Cage. Not because they don't like him, but because he's not Starks. Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb came next, and if Shida won, she'd get her 50th win in AEW. And they already had a little glass trophy made for her at ringside celebrating her 50th win, which kind of gave away the result before it happened, but still, it was a great match with loads of near falls and fun action, and then Deeb attacked the knee continuously, and then locked in the single leg Boston Crab, and Shida tapped out. What? That was awesomely unexpected, and Deeb doubled down on the victory by hitting Shida with her trophy over the head after the match. This was a nice twist in the story, and I think both of them came out looking better than when they went in. Big thumbs up. Darby Allin then got assaulted backstage by a bunch of people in masks who also hijacked the camera, but Everyone knew it was the pinnacle, as definitely not Wardlow hit the F10 on Allen on a bunch of railings. I assume this will lead to MJF denying it was him, but everyone knows it was. Also, good stuff. Anything bad on the show so far? No! Lio Rush cuts a promo saying he wants to help Dante Martin and said his people will call him. Britt Baker says that the other women can fight over the TBS championship and stop obsessing over her at the top of the division. And then it was the main event casino ladder match, and guys, this was outstanding. Orange Cassidy and Pac started the match off, with Andrade coming in next, who immediately hit a sunset flip powerbomb off a ladder in the ring, which set the pace for the entire match, and that pace was, holy shit, everything is so fast and does not slow down the entire time. Matt Hardy came in next and Lance Archer was after that. It went into a picture-in-picture ad break, but the action absolutely did not stop. Moxley came in and they went back and forth for a while, and then it was time for the Joker, and it was the return with a gigantic pop of Hangman Adam Page, who ran wild, then hit a huge deadeye off a ladder through a table to Pac, which looked absolutely insane. There was a fallaway slam on a ladder, a paradigm shift to Page. Hardy hit a leg drop through a table on the outside, and it was Moxley and Hangman hammering away on each other on the ladder. Moxley fell off. It's Hangman! It's Hangman! It's Hangman! Hangman wins, and oh my god, they're doing it. It's Hangman versus Omega, and I cannot wait. Hangman celebrates to end the show, and Jesus Christ, what an episode. From start to finish, I do not have any complaints about this entire Dynamite. And for those of you who know me at all, you know I like to look at the little details of a show, but there is nothing to criticize. This was a perfect show, bookended by 2 fantastic matches with 2 good matches and 1 great one in between. It doesn't get much better than this. An easy 5 out of 5. Please let me review Dynamite every week. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comments and by voting on our community tab, where 91% of you voted for Hangman vs. Omega. They're doing it! Yeah, that makes sense. I'm very excited about Hangman. Check out the WrestleTalk podcast channel later today, where it'll be me and Tempest reviewing the show in detail. I can't wait.
It's that time of year, better than Christmas, better than Thanksgiving, better than any holiday you can name. It's the WWE Draft, where Vinnie Mackey's wacky attackies take all their toys, put them in a box, and shake the box as hard as they can in the hope that it fixes all their toys. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but in case you missed either Raw or SmackDown, or if you're lucky both, I'm here to run down each and every single draft pick and rank them in order of the bad, the good, and the crushingly indifferent.